lecture we have already done how to prepare this sales details. This sales details we are preparing from profit and loss account. This purchase also we are preparing from profit and loss account. Before that, the GST reports, the GST R1 and GST R2, we have to clear the mismatch. Okay. Now if you see the sales detail here, this is our taxable sales, total sale of the year, excluding your exempted sale, that is 0% sale, don't include that. So taxable sale is a sale on which the tax is applicable, that is taxable sale. This is total CGST, total SGST, and this is total IGST. All these are what? Sale means output. So all these are output. Okay. Now these are purchase details. All this purchase detail. This is a total purchase of the month, CGST, SGST. So this is total of input. Now here I have made it separately. Output. See this is the output. I put it here. This is CGST. So I'll mention. I forgot to mention on top. I'll just mention it on top. This is sales. Okay. This is CGST. This is SGST and this is IGST. Okay, so this is GST. Similarly, this is also here purchase, CGST, SGST and say IGST. Okay, now let us see how to calculate the GST for payment. Now this tax we have to pay to the government. Remember, every month we are making the payment of this every month before 20th. Remember. 20. Now this month is September, so I'll be making the payment of GST. September GST will be paid on October before 20th. Remember, okay, before 20th of next month. Now let us see how to calculate the GST. For GST calculation, first we have to see about IGST. Okay, very simple. What you do? Output here, output. This you take first output minus input. This. Okay, the answer comes in what? Minus sign, minus 21,400. That means our input is more. Now what is the meaning of actual input? See, while purchasing the goods, we are already paying the tax to the party and purchasing the goods. That means whatever tax we pay to the party, it goes to the government. This tax we have already paid to the government, remember. And this is the tax. While selling the goods, we are collecting the tax from the customer. Remember, this is the tax which we have collected from the customer. Okay, so output minus input. That means what? We have already paid. When it comes to minus sign, the meaning of this is we have already paid more tax to the government. Okay, we have already paid more tax to the government. That is 21,000. We have already paid more tax to the government. Similarly, I will do this CGST also. Output minus input. Here we are getting positive sign. Again, negative signs. Okay. So output minus input. Okay. Now see, all the negative. When the negative comes, that means all. Remember all. When all negative comes, that means we don't have to pay this tax to the government. Remember, that means we have already paid more tax to the government. Okay, clear? I'll just change this output just to explain you. Remember, okay, as per this calculation right now we don't have to pay this tax to the government. Okay, now I'll just explain. I'll just make the changes here and I'll explain you. Assume that this is more now. Say assume that this is 35,000. This is 35,000 and this is say about say 40,000. Assume at that time you can see here this becomes a positive sign. This is payable. This you have to pay to the government. This GST we have to pay to the government. Clear? If everything comes negative, you don't have to pay the tax to the government. If everything comes positive, that you have to pay the tax to the government. Now sometimes what happens, see, if this IGST, say assume that we are not selling the goods outside the state. That means what? Assume that this is 0. We are not selling the goods outside the state, but we are purchasing the goods from outside the state. That is what? Purchase input is there here. Okay, let us see how to calculate the GST now. I'll say output minus input. This comes in minus. Again, this also output minus sorry, input. This again output minus input. So it is this. Okay. Whenever this IGST is negative, remember this is very important. Whenever this IGST is negative, that means this we have already paid more tax to the government. This I can adjust in CGST. Okay, I'll just still increase and see how much it is. Say 60,000. Assume that 60,000. Okay, I'll just make it okay, 60,000. This is also 60,000. Assume. I'll explain you that again. See, this is negative here, 25,000 so and so. When IGST is negative and these both are positive here, I told you in the beginning, if all are negative, you don't have to pay to the tax to the government. If all are positive, everything you have to pay to the government. Okay. And if IGST is negative, then IGST will be adjusted in CGST, remember. So here I'll write IGST adjustment. Okay. And here is what? 25,080. So I'll say minus it. Actually it is minus. I'll put a minus sign there. Okay. So actually this minus this, it becomes, this is what? Payable. This IGST negative I will adjust in this and I'll minus this, and this CGST we have to pay is this much, and SGST we have to pay this much. So IGST will be a 0 because this is adjusted in CGST. Clear? Okay. I'll make it one more now. So assume that this is my 35,000 or say 45,000. This is 45,000. Okay. Now let us see how to make the adjustment now. Now IGST is negative. This output is, when I say output minus input CGST, it is coming this less than this. So I cannot utilize this 25,080 rupees directly in this. Okay. So how much maximum I can adjust in this? 18,279. So this becomes what? 0. I'll say minus this. Okay, the balance amount of this, it is still left, no, something is left. I didn't utilize this entire thing in this. I'm utilizing the part of this in this, so this becomes a 0. Balance whatever is left, that is 25,080 minus what? 18,279 will be adjusted in SGST. So how much SGST I'll pay? This minus this. So only I have to pay SGST. Understood? If this is negative, this entirely, if you can adjust in this, then you can utilize that entire here, if it is adjusted. If you can't utilize this entire thing in this CGST, then you make this CGST 0, and whatever balance is left from this, you can utilize in what? SGST. So this SGST we have to pay to the government. And how to pay this GST to the government, we will see later on. So this is just a calculation of GST.